Hello YouTube, one more video before I call it a night. It's about, early in the morning, late at night, whatever you want to call it here. So, I made a heavy video, and um, at least for Team Fortress 2, and so one of the things I kept referring to was the medic, and I did promise that I would cover other classes in my next videos, and so seeing as how the heavy and medic are a good combination and they work well together, I decided why not? I'll go with the medic next. Um, and seeing as how the medic is your primary support class as far as buffing. As far he doesn't really buff per se, um, but he can do things like he has a canteen. All classes have a canteen that they use. It's a 3-use canteen, and the medic, excuse me, he has the ability to share the effects of his particular canteens with the person he's healing. So, heavy medic. You got a heavy that's spurting out a whole lot of ammo, and with a medic, if he's smart and looks beforehand and sees, oh, hey, there's a heavy, I'm going to need to be able to keep him alive. And if he has, if he has trouble with ammo, I'll need to be able to fill him up. And with the canteens, he can actually use his ammo refill canteen and refill the heavy. Now, in order for any of this stuff to work, you need to be in the actual act of healing the guy. So don't do that while you're not healing him. Otherwise, you're just going to waste it. Because a lot of times, unless it's dire situation or you're facing off against a tank, which is completely different ball game than a regular robot, then you're most likely going to be using your medigun or some other equivalent of that. And I could go into the different weapons and stuff and the whole 9 yards as far as collectible items, but I just don't have enough time in a YouTube video to do that. So I will be covering stuff other than that. Um, I know that a lot of guys, when they see videos like this, they'll be like, dude, what about this weapon? What about that weapon? And don't get me wrong, there are most definitely things to consider, especially with classes such as the heavy. Um, but I only have 10 minutes to work with, and I don't have a whole lot of time to go into as far as listing the particular weapons and what they're capable of and the good strategies with those. So that's why I don't go into that tremendous amount of detail. I may do that in later videos, but not these earlier ones. So, sorry guys, sorry for you hardcore Team Fortress 2 gamers, but I'm not quite up to par on all the weapons just yet. So I don't want to give any kind of information that's faulty, you know. And if I do give information that's faulty, please let me know in the comments. So, I take it with a grain of salt. It's criticism. It's honest criticism, and whatever happens will happen. So, getting back to the medic. Aside from your engineer, I said he's your primary support. He's obviously, aside from the engineer's dispenser, he's almost quite literally the only one in the group who can heal. Um, Now, there may be different things that can do that allow other classes to heal, but I'm not going to go into that. Now, there are upgrades, awesome upgrades for the medic in um, in the upgrade station between waves and before you first start your first wave of robots. Um, Now, the first wave, you typically will want to get the share canteen effect or something like that. I don't know what it's exactly listed as, but it'll allow you to share the effects of your canteen with the person that you're filling. And so, primarily, a lot of the stuff that you're going to be using is not for you. It's going to be for your buddies. And that's why the medic's there. He's support. He's pretty much your head support guy. Um, Barring engineer, of course, or sniper or spy. Possibly even scout, but I'm not going to get into that. Now, one of the awesome things, and the medic is the only class that can do this, is what's called the Uber charge. And quite frankly, it's the most epic part of a medic's arsenal. Um, what'll happen is throughout the game is whenever you're healing a target, the medic has a little bar in the right hand corner, the bottom right hand corner of his screen that says Uber charge. When that charge reads 100%, the medic can then choose to activate whenever he wants to something called the Uber charge. And the Uber charge is a temporary state of immunity to any and all damage, short of actually like falling off of a cliff and dying that way. Um, but I don't think that that'll happen anytime soon. At least if you got any kind of a head on your shoulders for where you're at. Um, so taking that into account, who's the best guy to use a medic with? Obviously, it's going to be the heavy when you're uber charged. If you don't have a heavy, a demo will work. Pyro even sometimes. But the thing is, with the pyro, you got to get up close, and with the medic, that's not your best position. At least a demo has ranged attacks. A pyro has things more like a shotgun, and a shotgun is not great at a distance. So a pyro is a good if I have to go with him choice because he'll still do a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong, but you got to get in close. And uber charge is temporary. Like I said, um, you're only going to be immune to damage for a short while. Now, one of the things about a medic is, say, one of your buddies is on fire. The medic can actually put out the flame. It'll take a couple of seconds, worth of healing, but you can actually put the flame out. Other than the pyro, who has a really cool like air blast feature on his gun, you're the only class that can put out flame, which is really important. Um, Now, one of the things that you can do as a medic to keep the Uber charge going and to get it faster is obviously there are going to be upgrades specifically for the Uber charge in your arsenal and available once you get enough money as a team to be able to purchase those. So, one of the things that I highly strongly recommend is your Uber charge rate increase and your Uber charge duration increase. You can purchase them at 25% intervals. So if you are going to get any one of those first, if you've got to choose between either one of those, I would say the Uber charge rate first, because quite frankly, you'll be able to get them back faster. So there's more Uber charges, and so that means obviously you're going to take less damage. Now there's other school thought, go for the Uber charge duration, but either which way. Now the thing with the medic, it's it's a more difficult class to play than some because it requires you to know where everyone is at all times, which can be really confusing the more people you get. I've seen up to 7 players going against a wave, and as a medic, it's kind of hard to keep up with them sometimes. So you got to prioritize as far as who's going to get the healing. Sad to say, but if you got a scout that's calling for a medic and you got a heavy that's calling for a medic, unless the scout is on the way to the heavy, you are most likely not going to touch him. I mean, there are very few times where a scout is going to get a medic. Pyro will more often than a scout get a medic. Demo will get a medic. Uh, you know, all these different things. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with the medics. It's not even funny. And I haven't even barely touched the tip of the iceberg, and I've only got 10 minutes. So, anyway, um, there's a lot more that you can go into. I'm sorry I don't have enough time to do that. But, Team Fortress 2 players, hey, stay strong. Don't let the bomb in the hole.